So, I don't like the rapey cameras. I was forced to do child porn when I was younger. I don't like the rapey cameras. I do these little videos for me. It lifts my spirits. Why in the hell do I give a damn about what other people think? Especially when they've committed crimes against me. Oh, I think my water bill's kicking in. Damn. Like I said, those antipsychotics cause congestive heart failure, something they don't inform you of, especially in dumbass fucking facilities like Eastern State Hospital, only for doctors to further say, no, we don't think it's that. How in the fuck would you know without even asking any goddamn questions? For starters, Regina Case. I told her that I had been experiencing syncope for decades. You would think that, she would order a 24-hour heart monitor or something to see how the heart behaves over time. But they immediately see cannabis patient and the like, plus past medical records. You've abused your medication. I did try to kill myself, and you want to know why? Because cops even here refuse to take accurate statements, instead claiming your behavior is dangerous and threatening. It's called Tourette's syndrome. Sometimes it can get loud and complex. It is an ADA-covered disability. You opening the taxpayer up to a lawsuit is on you. I'm more than happy to speak about it. Why wouldn't I? I guess I could put my teeth in, but the dry mouth, they won't stay in, even when I put that pasty stuff on them. And yes, I'm such a real person. I sit when I pee. You won't see anything, so it doesn't matter, does it? I couldn't even talk to my own family about being a rape survivor. And do you think they would sit down and ask me any questions about the domestic violence? Oh no, because they already knew and did absolutely nothing. That's another reason they liked it, that I was so feminine while scolding me for it, because any earnings or whatever that did come in, oh, well, we're buying stuff that he wants. Yeah, right. So let me tell you about medical kidnapping and this conservatorship guardianship thing, like my Aunt Debbie goes through with her sister Judy, my Aunt Judy, and her brother Stephen, my Uncle Stephen. Judy, who her ex husband, rapey ex husband, she swiniggled his family's estate. Sure, you all can trust me, to settle things. And her goddamn hazing, drug peddling youngest to Charles Lucas, and this is this and that is that. Like I said, when my father was still alive, they were nowhere to be found. As soon as I posted the estate value and it being settled on social media, they were right there, honey. You best believe it. But anyway, the conservatorship guardianship that my deaf aunt has to go through because they treat her like a mentally ill person. While Judy's husband points his disgusting finger at her, trying to get her attention, and then points at his foot, saying, come here, like she's a dog. To Stephen and Sherry and their love for adult entertainment, shall I pull up the emails that I have archived? I have terabytes and terabytes of stuff over the years from these people. They will not allow her to be around non hearing people because they claim they use her and, waste all of her money. Well, first of all, it's her money to use it as she sees fit. Just like with Judy and my grandmother. My grandmother asked her to take her to the bank one day after my grandmother had stopped driving. While they were there, Judy just conveniently had her name added to the checking account. All the grandkids might come in and rob you. My grandmother wanted new flooring and central heat and air so that the men, the boys and the grandsons, wouldn't have to sit and chop wood and, take time caring for her more than they already were. Judy said she's too old for new things in that house. Honestly, she's a bitch from hell. Of course, she and Bud were there that day that Mom filed the EPO. I walked back in the house, got my lockbox with my personal possessions in it and my medicine bag, because if they had withheld medications, that would have been an even bigger lawsuit, especially with Patrick and his goddamn drug peddling department threatening to kill me and causing property damage in the first place, and them threatening me about reporting it. But huge thanks to my family, with ties to Patrick and their goddamn fucking bullshit. So, shall I talk more about how Bud and Judy abused Debbie in their own sick ways while controlling the finances? Guess what? I reported that to Adult Protective Services too, only for them to look into the court records against me and say, you know what? We're not going to take it seriously. Just like with the abuse I felt my nieces and nephews were going through with their parents. I've never seen Michael go out of the way to be mean to them, other than scolding Brody for playing with a female doll. But my sister, yanking kids as hard as she can, she used to do it to me. It can cause permanent nerve damage in the elbows, and believe me, it fucking hurts like hell. They didn't want to take that seriously either. So, oh well. Oh well. So, shall I go more into conversion reparative therapy with my family here, especially too, and being suffocated, in that stupid procedure to the point of having to be resuscitated, and nobody wanting to talk about that either? I was highly disappointed to see the Ohio legislature turn down the ability to outlaw conversion reparative therapy. But for starters, the language. Sorry, Brian Sims up in Pennsylvania. The language of that legislation needs to be outright. Conversion reparative therapy banned by all, because guess what? It happens in the school districts, it happens in religious settings, and a lot of times there are medical personnel there, but only overseeing it. So, the way it's worded, like let's take Pennsylvania's, for example. No medical professional shall continue doing conversion reparative therapy. Well, that's all well and good, but what if a cop is doing it with a psych nurse right there watching, claiming, oh no, that cop didn't do anything to that kid? The legislation needs to be point blank. Conversion, reparative therapy, outlawed, period. So let me tell you more about Gail Massey and Ruggles Campground. It's a Methodist church in Lewis County. Todd Ruggles Campground, if memory serves me correctly. Bill Kelly and Brother Music had their own little special sessions there at times. Another traumatic memories. Just like that camp in Scioto County. Nobody believed me about Will Marshall and the ties to Scioto County. Well, I hated that church camp too. We went there for 2 or 3 years. That's the story about us on the way home in the Eldorado when it was brand new, me and Nan, and she hit that possum. Blood all over that brand new Cadillac. We got home and she's like, now, will I go in and reheat dinner? Because she always cooked on Saturdays normally. While I go in and heat dinner up for us, you wash all that blood off the Cadillac. And I'm like, God, what fun. So yeah, with my ties to the political legal community, you best believe the stories I tell are pretty fucking true. The only details that are missing and can sometimes be misinterpreted are when, they would cause me to black out either with physical force or chokeholds or smotherings. It truly was sickening. They claimed it was all mental health and my physical health being so poor, but guess what? It's called Munchausen's by proxy. especially with the bleach poisoning and the diesel fuel marinated steak. That's called Munchausen's by proxy. And they wouldn't even give me the medical attention I needed. And when they did, like I said, perfect example was when I was so sick I couldn't breathe. Mom and Dad went into Nancy Gutman's office with me, Dad smiling and all cheery, asking her for more PP penicillin pills. I'm pretty sure she wrote the prescription for him, even though it was my appointment. I think I got amoxicillin. So, yes, Munchausen's by proxy poisoning. I'm not a hypochondriac. I wish, well, in the physical realm. I don't want it to come true. I wish it were that case, because then the psych meds would actually work, and I would get better. Unfortunately, it's neuropsychiatric from the bludgeonings and the accidents and the suffocations. But nobody wanted to believe that. Why? The people involved. Conversion reparative therapy is still fully legal in Kentucky. Homosexuality, sexual relations between men, was illegal until 1993, when a lot of this stuff started coming to light and they started trying to shut me up about it. And a whole slew of other things. Kids don't have rights to be gay. You do not have a right to be non-Christian. You do not have a right to express yourself via clothing. Well, I can point to federal case law that blows your theory right out of the water if you'd like. But with my family as prosecuting attorney, sitting judges, county attorney, nope. Threat to life, big time, for threatening to sue those sick pieces of shit. Now it feels like there's somebody squeezing my left hand. We told you! Like, honestly, it's not a hallucination. It's called a flashback. Every time I get stressed, I can hear them barking and yelling, "Stand up and place your goddamn hands behind your back!" After suffocating me out in one of their fucking pervert fun times. So forgive me for any law enforcement that approaches me in this day and age. It's no disrespect. I'm not trying to be offensive. You people frighten the hell out of me. Even if I don't know you. All because of just what you belong to. And that's pretty fucking sad. Especially if they're good cops. And they never take the time to understand that. They just label it as some other form of mental illness, check their boxes, sign off on it, and let it go. All the while I get put on more suicide-causing medications. Like I said, when the Hamilton County pulled that instead of listening, all at the behest of family, truly, and neighbors who didn't understand Tourette's, I came home. I had almost full bottles of Percocet, Valium, and Cymbalta. I took every last one of them. I said, to hell with this shit. I don't want to die. I'm not intentionally trying to kill myself. But at the same time, if I have to put up with this shit one more goddamn time because they failed to accurately diagnose and understand it, I am not subjecting myself to that goddamn pervert version of theater. No offense and no disrespect to the court system, but you all have got people between a rock and a hard place. People like me. Statute of limitations has expired for me to file a lawsuit to get what was rightfully mine in the first place. That's sickening, especially when the legislators who enabled that particular legislation, you have to sue by the time you're 20. Some of them were involved when I was a kid. Well, Mr. Horde, you can always press charges against them and a judge might award you a monetary amount for the pain. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, With my family and the judicial system, I really don't see that happening. I don't feel hopeless. I don't feel worthless. I do feel guilty most of the time for even being alive. But that's mainly because of how I'm treated. No offense to anyone. I feel like a burden all the time. because I can't support myself. Like I said, I managed to work 3 months at Tyson. Thought I was going to have to walk out the first night because of physical bullshit. They keep it, all the products that come out of their equipment, 0 degrees frozen. So you can imagine how cold the workplace is. For people with an autoimmune illness, they like it cold. They do. You can ask anybody. But with my mobility issues, it's hard to walk being that cold. I like being cold. It lessens the pain, but it makes mobility more difficult. There were several times I had to walk off the line and shove my hands in a sink full of hot water. So it's like, oh my God. I should have known better than to, even think about doing such a physically strenuous job. But with finances the way they are and being made feel like I just don't try, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to push myself and do it, just like I always do. And it flopped. I beat myself up for it for a while afterwards. Beating myself up over losing a good job. And then, the cops and neighbors not understanding Tourette's and the medical health care and, people making statements. Well, I'm afraid I've seen him do this. You've seen me slip and accidentally fall into the dog on that psychotropic poison. You all always purporting that I do things on purpose with criminal and ill will is sickening. I'll tell you what was done to me on purpose. That sick fucking conversion reparative therapy. And that never happened. That was on purpose for a reason. Child porn, attorneys and judges coming on kids' faces, etc. And they pretend they didn't know. Oh well. I guess that's what the American dream is now. Praying to God that the people who fucking raped you in the legal and judicial system don't just wipe you out in one way or another. Oh well. Boo-hoo. Ow, God damn it. So I sit in the fetal position a lot, just like I lay in the fetal position a lot. It's called trauma. You would think after federal officials were involved in the child's shit too, not just federal officials, federal law enforcement officials. If they had some questions, they could at least show the same goddamn respect I showed them when I was younger. Trying to report it, them threatening to kill me, and them getting away with it. You think they'd have a little bit of goddamn respect for a domestic violence rape survivor, especially now that they're outlawed from doing chokeholds. See my childhood photos doing this? I had to witness that I don't know how much, how often. I don't know why I smell cum. I honestly don't know why I smell cum. I don't think there's any other man here, but I smell cum, and I know it's not me. Probably the flashback to Stockton or another one of them. Stocky. Or shall we talk about Bobby's 20 years as circuit and district court judge and his what proof do I have? Well, take it up with Tammy Brown. As I said, I'll tag her in a few more. Even though Patrick did make that ugly, disgusting, idle threat of, if there's anyone else left to interview. You do realize I record our conversations, don't you? I tried to mention that every time, with the state police and with locals. I said, I just want you to know, as a domestic violence rape survivor and being gaslit into, those rapes were just delusions. I record these calls. So do we. Good. So if there are any discrepancies, we'll be able to point them out. And just like I told them, I never wanted this goddamn auditing job. Especially being put through what I went through when I was younger. But it was a perfect job for me, wasn't it? Can we see your credentials? Let me bend over.
You didn't empty this.
Huh?
You didn't empty this.
I'm sorry, I normally don't empty it until it gets full. I know you empty the canister every time. That's what I'm talking about. I normally empty the vacuum canister when it gets full. Never could do anything the right way.
Living room and then you stopped.
You said something and I didn't hear you.
I said you probably didn't empty it because you did the living room and then stopped and never.
Yes, that's probably true. I did the living room, my back locked, and I put the vacuum away to vacuum the rest of it another day. When I talk about my back locking, it is literally like someone is reaching and wrapping themselves around my spinal canal, crushing it. And when it locks, I basically fall on the floor. Now, I'm pretty sure that's a pretty fucking serious physical medical condition, but I could be wrong. Just like with Dr. Berger at Christ Hospital touching my ass that day. Taking his hands and pushing my shoulders on down, making me touch my feet, my toes. I know I can touch my toes, you fucking pervert. It hurts like hell. He touched my ass that day inappropriately before shoving me on down to touch my toes. He kinda had some smart ass, I see you can do it. I know I can do it. It hurts like hell, especially when somebody forces me to do it. But then again, that group of physicians diagnosed rape back pain as growing pains. Here's Dr. Schaus's medical documentation to prove it. Here's Kelly Moss's dumbass statements to prove it. Oh well. So, the Shoemaker case from 2010 out of Mason County, them airlifting him to Christ Hospital. Yeah, that's another goddamn disgusting connection in human trafficking. I guess UK had told him not to send any more their way after me. I gave up real cigarettes, too. I've had a couple of slips. But over the last 3 months, I haven't smoked a real cigarette. Well, over the last 3 or 4 months, I've only purchased 2 packs of real cigarettes. That is crazy for me. After they put me on Zoloft at 13 for trying to talk about being human trafficked, I turned to nicotine like a fucking idiot and became a stripper. You can ask the Ingrams and the Canadians. And that's right around the time Mr. Boggs and his wife met. But anyway, I turned to the vape stuff. It's actually a good alternative, even though it can cause some totally different form of pneumonia. Nicotine is the devil. It is the only thing I have ever had a problem actually saying, you know what, I don't want that. That's why I had those slips buying real cigarettes. I thought, my God, I want another cigarette. Opiates, benzos, cannabis. I gave up cannabis to gain employment at Tyson. And then the pain became so severe, physical pain, I had to resume treatment. That doesn't sound like textbook drug addiction to me. Nicotine and antipsychotics. Let me tell you what, that Seroquel's addictive. I kept asking, and not in a suicidal gesture. I kept asking the doctor, I think we should increase the dosage of it. That is textbook addiction. But all they could complain about was controlled substances, the DEA. The DEA. Let me tell you about Drug Enforcement Agency federal officers involved in what I mentioned as a child. And here's the goddamn Department of Justice memo telling you physicians to quit treating chronic pain patients like fucking pieces of shit. Have I made my point clear enough yet? And then them coming to me, bitch, who do you think you are? Nobody. Absolutely no one. That's why it's so fucking perfect and beautiful. Shut your mouths and enjoy the fucking show. Yes, the hillbilly that just wallers around in their own cow's filth. Yep, living like the Clampetts. I don't need anybody's fucking approval. I got over that shit a long time ago. You all don't want to be around me or go to Hobe Sound or go shopping in Cancun or whatever that fucking little thing is off of Cancun. That cool store, Cartier and all. Keep your asses at home. I don't need you all in my life, that's for goddamn sure. No offense. What is that little place? Cozumel? Hell, I don't remember. Yeah, Cozumel. That's that little island we went to. They had the best fucking chicken lime soup I've ever had in my life. Colin, she went with me to Mexico that time. Man, you order that every meal. It is fucking delicious. You know how I wear a lot of cologne? According to you people, I can't smell it, just like I can't taste anything. You all have no goddamn clue what I went through as a kid and the Reconstruction and everything. Don't ask. So no, I really can't taste food just like I can't smell the cologne. I'm lucky when I'm testing one. Well, you know, to get the alcohol out of it. Unless they're pure, really pure expensive ones, and I'm not wasting my money on that shit. One of the pharmacists I know told me the other day his wife spent like $500 on a bottle of cologne for him. Because I asked him, I'm like, what are you wearing? You smell nice. He gave me the site to go on to look for it. Then he told me how much it cost. I said, I spend $80 on a bottle of cologne and I feel guilty. Well, and, you know, I'm just pretending. Well, I think it smells good. Sorry if I'm choking you with my cologne. I can't smell it. I like Chanel and Yves Saint Laurent the best. Versace. Versace, however it's really pronounced. My friends always